درود بر تمام بیننده‌های خوب این برنامه که از نوع این برنامه رو با ما میبینن. بذارید مثل همیشگی اول I should be actually talking in English. Good afternoon to all the good viewers of this program who are watching this program with us. Do apologize that I spoke in Persian, it's just second nature. Okay, I have shared the link for you in Telegram as usual. Let me lower the volume of my phone so that it doesn't bother you guys with the double voice. Reading this way, I'll be able to figure out if there's any kind of problems ahead of time so that the program can be nice and smooth for everybody. So today we are going to continue with part 9 of Musa al-Kazim, the sadistic serial killer. Let me share that screen with you so that you all have it just like me. And then we are going to continue from where we left off last week. Pretty soon you'll be able to see what I've scrolled to. And once you are there, we will start. Okay, you are here with me. So if you remember last week, sorry about that. Let me put my phone on silent so it doesn't make any noise. All right, so last week when we left off, we were at a position where we were talking about the pure children of Musa al-Kazim because he's pure and all of his offspring by default become pure because they came from him, not because of their actions. It's not because they were good. No, they were just his kids. This is coming from the Shia scholars, the ulama, who say that it's your actions that determine where you go. But we can see that the kids of Musa al-Kazim are pure, sinless, just because they were born from him. So now we go a little further down, okay? And we will look at what they say about his kids. Before we mentioned their biographies, and before we mentioned their genealogists, and the traditionalists have differed over their number. Here is a man who spent his life fornicating, raping, child molesting, incest. And they say he was a man of prayer. He sat and prayed every day, where nothing could be more further from the truth. Because when you are having this much sex, and when you are raping this much, and when you're child molesting this much, and when you're an incest-minded person, as much as this guy is, you have no room to go and work. You have no room to go and pray. Your whole time is occupied. Let's take a look at what those who follow this guy as an imam, as a spiritual leader, and believe him to be handpicked by Allah, the so-called God of Islam, let's see what they write about how many children he had. Number one, they say he had 33 kids, 16 of them male, 17 of them female. The next group says he had 37 kids, 8 males, 19 females. You know, if you compared him to like a dog or a cat, he'd put them to shame. And those guys, you know, dogs and cats sometimes have big litters of like 7, 8, 9. But, you know, this guy, every other minute, something's popping out. Some, they say the number is 38 with 20 males and 18 females. Some say that no, that number is actually 40. He had 40 kids, 18 of them male, 22 of them females. And some say there were 60 kids, 23 of them male, 37 of them female. But that's not where the story ends. There are narrations other than these. The names of both male and females are as follows. You know, they jump. They say there's narrations other than these, but they don't tell you about it. Because if you look at it, the number goes up into the hundreds. Then they start listing you some of the more important males. The first one, they play a trick on you. Look, they say Imam Rida. But this Imam Rida, first of all, Imam is his work title. He's supposed to be the top clergyman, which he was not. He was a scam artist. Rida is supposed to be his title, that, you know, he's always satisfied with what happens. Because during his time, there was a lot of money given to him. So he was a satisfied man. You give someone money and he has to do nothing, you know, you're satisfied. Who doesn't want to stay home and get paid? His name is actually Ali, A-L-I. He was Musa's favorite butthole. Let's be frank. He liked that round hole in the anus. The next one was Ismail and Jafar and Harun and Hamza and Muhammad and Ahmad and Qasim, Abbas, Ibrahim, Hassan. Here they played a little trick on you. They didn't want to say his full name. Abd means Abdullah, so he's slave of God. Zayd, Hussein, Al-Fadi, Sulaiman, Salim, Saeed, Aqil, Ibrahim, the elder, not to be mistaken with the other Ibrahim. Okay? And again, another Abdullah. You know, Musa used to play a game. When he had kids, he would repeatedly give them the same names. So people can be fooled and think he's talking about the same kid while he has multiple kids. He did this for a specific reason. And that's because he did a lot of incest with his own kids. He used to rape and molest his own daughters. He was a big-time pedophile. And that's why he had to cover it up by giving the same names to the kids that he had, so people would be fooled and not catch on that he has new kids popping out all the time and not new wives, which is used loosely because it's a F-U-C-K-I-N-G contract that they sign in Islam. So people don't understand where these kids are coming from. He had to give them the same name so that people will be fooled into thinking he's talking about the same kid while he has lots and lots of kids with the same name. And for the females, I've told you before, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you see the word or umma, like here, not to be mistaken with ummat, these words here, ummah and being a short for ummah, means mother. So every time you see it in front, that means this child is a mother. So mother of Abdullah. The next one is Husaymiya, Labuba, and then again, mother of Jafar, the second daughter that he had sex with. Every time you see this or ummah, means that he's had sex with that girl And instead of using her name, he's referring to her as a mother. Umma, again, Umma al-Qasim, again, Umma Salama, Umma Farwa, Umma Abiha. The list continues to go on. If you look, here's another Ummah, here's another Ummah, here's another Ummah, and it continues and continues and continues. Now, these are the more famous ones, but the rest of them who are not famous also had the same problem. They just won't list you everything because they're afraid. These scholars that write these books are afraid. If they tell you the truth, some of those who read these books will start to think, why this guy has so much kids? What was he doing? And they'll start to think and they'll realize this wasn't a man of God. This was a man of penis. He worked for the XXX videos that are created today. He was a porn star of his time. Everybody had to take a ride on his penis. It was the ride of the day. And they will leave Islam. So they can list everything. His nikah, sex slaves, incest, pedophilia with his own kids. Let's take a look at some of them. Fatima bin al-Hassan. That was supposedly one of his FUCKING contracts. Why they say bint al-Hassan? Because her forefather is Hassan, meaning she is one of his cousins. He went and got his cousin, and they had kids. The next one is Najma. The next one is Tuktan the slave. He would go and take a sex slave. Today, in your society where you live, slavery is against the law. You're not allowed to go and get a slave. But according to Allah, the God of Islam, slavery is a great business. And as you can see, according to Shia Islam, his representative on earth, his mouthpiece on earth, the one that does physical actions on behalf of God on earth, he loves to have sex slaves. Slave wife, not to be mistaken with sex slaves. The sex slave is just a slave for sex that you can just walk up to at any time. You don't have to make any kind of contracts. You don't have to even give him any money. Just walk up at any time, pull her dress over her head, take down the panties, and go to town. But here, with a slave wife, you make a contract for FUCKING. He was known as al-Khawari. Excuse me, the sex wife was known as a he, not a she. Very interesting. Mother of Jafar. I'm sure that's probably the scholar's typo. Slave wife, mother of Al-Hassan. Slave wife, mother of Hamza. These are not the same slave wife. They're different slave wives. Look at how many slaves this guy had. Slave wife, mother of Zayd. Slave wife, mother of Abdullah. Slave wife, mother of Ubayyad. Ubayd ibn Abdullah, slave wife, mother of Harun. And then these ones in the yellow and red, highlighted for you. These are his children that he pregnated and had kids with. Abdullah, Jafar, Qasim, Salama, Farwa, Abiha, Kulthum the elder, Kulthum the younger, Kulthum the youngest. See, they all have the same names. And of course, let's not forget, because he was also bisexual, he loved the anus of his son, who they are naming here for you, Imam Alireza. Now let's look at what the Quran says. The word of Allah, written by Allah, the God of Islam. You know, that statue God that Muslims believe in. And then they proclaim that everybody else believes in their Allah because they forced by putting a sword to people's neck to incorporate the name Allah into their books. And then they say in Arabic, you see, you have it in your book. They don't tell you, hey, if you didn't put it in there, we'd kill you. Let's see what the Quran of Allah, the words of Allah in his supposed holy book, which is worth less than the tissue paper you wipe your buttocks with. Let's see what the book says about the actions of Musa. Here's the link in blue. We're going to chapter An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 24. Here's the Arabic version for you. And then we have the translated portion. Allow me to explain this translated portion for you very well. This is one of the most favorite ayats, verses for Shia Muslims. They love to memorize the numbers 424. And when they see Sunni Muslims, they like to tell them about 424, because Sunnis say that the Prophet gave a hadith that says you are no longer allowed to do temporary marriage. But the Shia will say, aha, but the Quran says you can, so Allah says you can. And Allah overrides the Prophet, therefore you can. Because of that, they love this. But we're going to dissect the whole entire verse for you. The whole ayat is the verse. We're going to dissect it, explain it, and show you what most scholars do not show you. Also, forbidden are married women. Most people read this and they go, well, I guess that means any married women. No, that's not what it said. In Islam, you have to, the viewers who are watching this program, you have to take off your non-Muslim glasses, put it to the side. You need to see and hear what we're talking about from the eyes of a Muslim, the mind of a Muslim, the upbringing of a Muslim, with Islamic rules in mind. When we are talking about married women, I'll highlight it for you. In Islam, the only supposed marriage that is upheld and validated and accepted is one that is done Islamically, which means if you're a Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, Zarathustra, whatever you want to call yourself, when you got married, you didn't get married in an Islamic manner. Hence, your women are not married women. You understand what's going on? Here we're talking about married women, as in Muslim married women. And this word married that you see in English does not exist in the original Arabic text where you see above you. The word for marriage in Arabic is the waj. Nowhere in here do you see the word is the waj, because there is no marriage. In reality, what it says is also forbidden are FUCKING contracted women who are Muslim. And when it comes to Muslim, if a person says they're Muslim, that doesn't mean anything, because you go one step further. You see, in Islam, the Muslims as a whole, they believe that Muslims have 73 sects because they have a hadith, a saying from their prophet, that the Jews, this hadith comes in different ways. I'm going to say the most full version. The Jews will come down to 71 sects by the end of time. And the Christians will be split into 72 sects. And the Muslims will be split into 73 sects. And only one is going to heaven. That means if you add it all up, 71 and 72 and 73, you have well over 210 sects, and only one is going to heaven, which means everybody else is going to hell. And if you're going to hell, then by default, you are not the true Muslim, according to Islam. And because you're not the true Muslim, your woman here is not forbidden. So what will happen is, if you live in an area where most of the people are Wahhabi, if you're not Wahhabi, your woman is not safe. If you live in an area where the most people are Salafi, and you're not a Salaf, then your woman is not safe. If you live in an area where most people are Ahmadi, and you're not an Ahmadi, then your woman's not safe. If you live in an area where the most of the people are Nation of Islam, and you're not Nation of Islam, then your woman's not safe. If you live in an area where most of the people are Shia, but you are not a Shia, then your woman is not safe, and so on and so on and so on. So only in reality, your contracted FUCKING woman is safe if you are in an area where you as a man follow the same sect of Islam that the rest of the people around you follow. You got it? Except female captives. You see? Except female captives. That means a Wahhabi can go ahead and grab and abduct a woman that has a FUCKING contract with a Shia and take her to a heavily Wahhabi Salafi area, and he's safe He can do whatever he wants with your wife, loosely, because she's not really a wife. And there is nothing you can do about it. Because if you try to enter there to get her back, off with your head. And these female captives are in your possession. Do whatever you want with them. They're not forbidden. See, forbidden, married women, except female captives. So these female captives are supposedly married. They might have a FUCK-ING contract with a Shia, and now they're in a Sunni territory. They might be Jewish and they're married. They might be Hindu and they're married. They might be Buddhist and they're married. They might be Christian and they're married. They might be atheist, but are still married. But here, Mr. Muslim went and captured your so-called wife, took her with him to his house, and now if you try to go and get her back, you better be ready to be killed. This is Allah's command for you. Whose command? Allah's command. Allah has ordered this for you. Allah has told you, Mr. Muslim, don't worry. You're feeling horny. You're aroused. Your penis is standing up, saluting the flag. It's okay. Just go and grab the wife of your neighbor, abduct her, and now, because your neighbor was not exactly Muslim from the same sect as you, you can have your way with it. This is why they can now have slaves, because when you capture them, they become your slaves. Was Musa al-Kazim sleeping around with slaves? Yes, he was. He was following this. Lawful to you are all beyond these, as long as you seek them with your wealth in a legal marriage. There is no marriage up here. In this whole thing, there is no marriage. All we have is FUCKING contract. Where is the word for marriage here? This legal marriage. Where's the word for it? Right here. فما استأتم. This فما استأتم. That's it. Right there. And if you ask any of the Shia ulama, their scholars, what does this mean? They tell you, this is muta, temporary marriage. The original name for muta is al-nikah al-muta. You see, there is al-nikah al-nikah, and then there is al-nikah al-muta. Nikah al-muta is, you sign a contract, could be from less than a second. Yes, you heard that right. Less than a second. All the way until when you die, you could write a contract. You can even write it longer than that. You can say, 50 years after I'm dead, you're still supposedly, my fucking contract. And there is a time limit. There has to be a time. Nikah, there is no time limit. You do it, and when you die, they become a supposed widow. And but mastatuma. Every Shia likes to throw that in the face of Sunni. Look, it says you can do muta. But mastatuma, the 10th verb of it in Arabic is muta. Not in fornication. What does it mean by not in fornication. Not in fornication is regarding a woman who, like you, is a Muslim. When you meet her, you do either a muta or a nikah. Don't just pull her dress over her head, pull down the panties, and go to town. Don't do that. You have to, offer her a penny, a bag of chips. Do like Vivek Ramaswamy does. Give her a lollipop ring. That's how he married his throat surgeon wife. He proposed and gave her a lollipop ring. I mean, the guy's a millionaire, multi-millionaire. He has George Soros money coming out of the wazoo, paying for his education. He couldn't even afford to pay his education with his money. I mean, that's how much of a Scrooge the guy is. He had to have George Soros Foundation open source pay for it. And then you wonder, well, this guy's going to be the head of the Republican Party, the guy who was the puppet of George Soros? Really? Oh, yeah, I'm going to take it a step further from where Donald Trump took it. No, you're not taking it a step further from Donald Trump took it. You want to hijack what Donald Trump started. You talk all the good, oh, yeah, we're going to do that, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. Why don't you first come out and denounce George Soros? Or are you too chicken because you took his money? Huh? Where are you with Al Sharpton? You used to get schooled by Al Sharpton. Now you have debates with Al Sharpton where he can bash you in the head. And all he did, huh? So here, this verse says you can pull a Vivek Ramaswamy and give them a lollipop ring so they can suck on the lollipop ring until the lollipop part is done, and then they can throw away the ring. Huh? You can do that. Just don't do it without giving them the lollipop ring, okay? You cannot do it for free. At least the lollipop ring, Throw a 25-cent quarter in one of those machines you find near the supermarket exit door. Turn the knob a few times, let a ring fall out. And then, it doesn't matter if it fits or not. I mean, all she's going to do is put it in her mouth until the lollipop is finished. Right? And then you can tell her, whisper in her ear, you want something else in the mouth? Like Vivek Ramaswamy does. And that's how he keeps the throat surgeon. Because, she's expert in the throat area. She's a throat surgeon. Are you going to tell me that a throat surgeon is not an expert of the throat area? I mean, anyone who fact checks this has to agree that she's an expert of the throat. Come on. Give those you have consumed marriage with their due dowries. Ah! Give those you have consummated marriage with, meaning after you marry them, you take this girl or woman, whatever she is, you take it and put it in the bed, and you do the deeds of the bed until you are satisfied. When you are satisfied, that's when you give, like Vivek Ramaswamy did, that's when you give the lollipop ring to the girl, okay? Before that, you cannot give it. You got to be satisfied. It's like going to the mechanic. You go to a mechanic and you say, my tire, it has no air. It's flat. You're not just going to hand over money to the mechanic. He has to either fix, repair, or replace the tire so that you can drive out of there with a tire that has air in it. That's when you pay the mechanic. Likewise, I mean, you hired this girl for an FUCKING contract. Now this girl is sitting there in the bed, assuming the position, allowing you to come and finish the deed. If she doesn't let you finish the deed, she hasn't finished her job. If she didn't finish her job, she can't collect money. She has to finish her job like the mechanic finished his. So in this verse, Allah, the God of Islam, is teaching women what their job in society is. And their job in society is to be on their back on a bed and their legs make a V shape for victory. And you, well, you know what you got to do. And then when you're finished, you can give them the lollipop ring like Vivek Ramaswamy. It is permissible to be mutually gracious regarding the set door. You know what this means when it says mutually gracious? That means supposedly, let's say you like girls that look fit and they have, like Islam says in heaven, big boobs, they're just bouncing boobs. In heaven, the girls are just bouncing boobs and they just have a big buttocks to go with the bouncing boobs. And they are so white that you can see right through them into their bone marrow. And these women over there, they're like something else, okay? But anyway, suppose that's what you like. And then those options are not available. And what you find is you find a woman plus size, super plus size, 1,000-pounder, like, and then she says to you, well, I know that the women in shape, they're charging like 2 cents. I want the same. And you tell her, well, I mean, you can't have 2 cents because, I mean, look at you and look at them, I mean, you can't compare with them. So I can't give you 2 cents. So I will give you like half of a cent. And the next time I come and do the deed, we'll do another half of a cent. And then after 2 deeds, you will have a whole penny. That's how it works. And then she will be like, well, I mean, you got a point. I don't look like them. And, well, we got to do something. And since I brought that up, maybe I should show you a picture of what the women in heaven look like so that you can have an idea of, I mean, what we are talking about. Because if you don't know what we're talking about, it might be very hard for you to imagine, and then you may not get the full picture. So we're going to show you a picture, right? The Iranian version didn't get this picture because I didn't bring up this one part. But you guys, you will have to get the full picture because, I mean, at the end of the day, how can you not get the picture of what happens in heaven? Unfortunately, I have to find it for you because I did not prepare to show you this ahead of time. So it becomes a little bit of a, like, where did I keep it and where did I store it? But I do have pictures of Muslims, women in heaven. I mean, I sent my news agency. They went and they found the pictures. They went all the way to heaven and they came back and they found the pictures for you. And now we have those pictures. But the question is, where did they save it for me so that I can show it to you so that you can gain from it, I have to find that for you quickly if I can and show it to you. That one either. Not that one either. If it takes too much time today, we can I can show it to you next week after I look for it in detail and find it for you and bring it out for you. And then you will have the pictures of them, because it's taking a little bit of time right now to find them, and I don't want to waste your time and my time. So we'll go to the next verse, and then we'll come back to it. Here's the link for the next verse. It's literally the next verse. Like that was 24, this is 25, same chapter. Here's the Arabic version, and then it says in English, but if any of you cannot afford to marry, you can't afford the Vivek Ramaswamy lollipop. You know, you are really poor. I mean, you can't even afford that. Okay? To marry a free believing woman, okay, of your own sex. Okay, then what do? Then let them marry a believing bond woman possessed by one of you. This bond woman is a slave woman. You see, during the time of the Prophet of Islam, there were some Muslims, and they decided to capture women. And those women decided to think, well, since Muslim men who were captured in war and were not Muslim turned Muslim, converted, and they were freed, maybe we can do the same. We can become Muslim women that have been captured in war, and we can become free. Surprise, surprise. The Prophet said, no, you captured these women from their homes when you invaded it. Now they are in your right-hand possession. So they were not freed. So what happens here? You, Mr. Muslim, you have no money for a lollipop ring. You can't pull a Vivek Ramaswamy. So now you come and you make a contract with this slave woman, and you tell her, hey, listen, right now your condition is every man that comes by gets to put his penis inside your holes. I can give you discount. Instead of every penis from this point moving forward, you will just have my penis, not everybody's penis. No money. I mean, you make a deal with her. Instead of her having to be used and abused by everyone in the community, now she can only be used and abused by you. Ah, great deal, isn't it? I mean, she has to be thankful to you that you're going to continue the rape of this woman. It's just now you've limited it down to just you instead of everybody in the community. Discount business. Yeah, I mean, you didn't have money for a lollipop ring. Well, what do you think? You're going to give her gold and diamonds now? No, you give her a discounted condition. Allah knows best. If you have a problem with that, you got to take it up with Allah. Allah knows more, man. Allah knows best. You know? He knows best. By best, I mean he knows the name best, like the word best. He just knows best. He doesn't know anything else. He just knows best. Okay? Like if you ask him what does best mean, he can explain best. If you ask him anything else, he doesn't know. That's why, you know, the Muslims keep telling you Allah knows best. And you think that they're talking about other topics, but they're really talking about the word best. And you just don't get it because, I mean, they're telling you clearly Allah knows best. Like someone would say, Allah knows dogs. You know, then you will understand. He knows dogs. He doesn't know cats. He just knows dogs. Okay. Here, Allah only knows the word best. Muslims keep telling you that. But unfortunately, you don't listen to the Muslims. You think they're talking about the topic you were talking. No, they're talking about the word best. Allah knows best. Okay. The state of your faith and theirs. Oh. The state of your faith and theirs. You see, you are a man. You have faith. They are women. They're like animals and below animals. They don't have a faith. Come on. Does your cat at home have faith? No. Did she ever speak to you in your language and tell you, I have lots of faith? I have faith that one day I will become the owner of this house and I will go out and come back when I feel like it. And when I leave the house, I will never be in danger. And you will be the pet that will sit at home and wait. I mean, come on now. You don't have faith if you're a woman. You know why? Because you were not a man. You have to be man to have faith. It's just a prerequisite. You don't have the prerequisites for faith. I mean, you were not born man. I mean, that's why, in the West, they don't know who's a man and who's a woman. When they ask what is a woman, because they don't know, because they're wondering if they have faith or not. They don't know if they have the faith or they don't have the faith. And so they don't know if they're a man or a woman. You see, it's very simple. It doesn't have anything to do with biology. It has to do with your faith. Allah knows best. Allah knows best. Don't forget that. You are from one another. No way. Did you guys learn? You are from one another. I mean, your father was not a gorilla and your mother was not a lion. You came from a human. No way. Do you believe that? I mean, this guy's teaching you you're a human. And that's supposed to be from God? No way. I don't believe it. I don't accept it. No, I don't accept it. No. At least one of you had a alligator as a father and a crocodile as a mother. That's why, that's how they got the name Crocs, when people wear Crocs as shoes. Because, they wear what their mother was. Their mother was a crocodile and they became Croc wearers. That's how it works. Come on now. You guys do. You, the speaking language people, you know. Come on now. You are from one another? No way. Wow. I mean, who did not know this thing? Come on. Which one of you didn't know you're a human? So marry them with the permission of their owners. Did you catch that? Let's put joke aside. You are from one another. By you, he means you men are from one another. So marry them. Them, the women. They are not you. You is a man. Them is a woman. Where do you think the LGBTQI plus 720,000 PP, I don't know, whatever numbers, the letters they want to add to it. I mean, the list keeps growing. I don't know. But where do you think they got all these new pronouns? Them, sie, ers, theirs, they, them. Where do you think they got this them from? Islam. Religion of the LGBTQ. When you see the queers for Palestine, where do you think they come up with this? I mean, they know Islam better than you. This is their religion. Men are no longer called men, they're called you. Changing the pronouns. Wokeism. Women are called them, not women. So marry them, marry the girls. There, by the way, marry is loosely. Here, look above. In all of this that's highlighted now, all of that, you don't find the word is the wash. is the waj is not there. So when you go and you get them, when you sign a FUCKING contract with them, the women, you have to get the permission of their owners. Permission of the owners, ladies and gentlemen. Permission of the owners. That is why girls do not have an identification of their own in Islamic countries. They are listed underneath their father's identification. So when you show your identification in Islam, when you show your official government approved card that shows your name, beside it, it'll say your religion. Underneath it, it'll say married. And then it'll say the name of the person that you have that nikah contract with. And then underneath that, it'll also list the girls, the daughters that were born. Not the sons. The sons will go and get their identification. But it'll list the name of your daughters. Because they are your property. They are not human beings. Like how your dog is your property. You know, you own your dog. You own your cat. You own the snake that you keep as a pet. Huh? You own your house. You own your car. You own your clothes. Your daughters and your wife, loosely, they have the same status as your suit. You own it. So now somebody comes, they want to have a FUCKING with your daughter. They come to you and they say, Abdul, can I have a FUCKING contract with your daughter? And you will say, how much you willing to pay? And they call it a dowry. You go from Indonesia all the way to the West here. Oh, you want the daughter? Okay, well, you need to set up a store for me. You need to give 2 big banquet dinners so I can invite everyone from my side of the family and everyone from the animal side of the family that I got when I was a child and I became an adult, and now because of that I had this damn girl that you want to penetrate. So you need to feed everybody from both sides, and after that we're going to sign an agreement. Every month of Ramadan, you're going to come to our city in our country because, you know, every night you got to, you know, pay for the food, man. Come on. And then every year on top of that, you're going to give us this. And when the girl divorces you, if she can even divorce you, and you don't decide, I changed my mind, I'm going to take her back. If you don't do that either, and, you know, you really get fooled, then you give this much money, and well, she can't go and live on her own, not in an Islamic country. No, that's not allowed. She can't go and rent a place. No one will rent to her. No, buy a place with her young age. What? No. So she will have to come back to her father's home, which means the money you gave her follows her to the father's home. And when she's at her father's home, then she belongs to the father again, which means the money she had also belongs to the father again. Initially, what you're doing is you're buying a woman like you would buy a suit. Women in Islam are worth and equal to some t-shirt, some panty that you buy, your boxers. You buy some socks. Huh? You buy some gum. You know, they're equal to gum. You chew the gum and spit it out. You get the girl when she's 7, and you spit her out of your house when she's 30. Why you need a 30-year-old? Go get another 7-year-old. Replace her with it. You need a new version, like like a car or a phone. You know your cell phone? Every time they come up with a new version, and everyone lines up to get the new phone, the new Samsung, the new iPhone, the new this and that, Google phone, and the garbage is every time they bring out something. Oh, this one is $2,000. Oh, that one is $1,000. Oh, we'll give you a discount on this one. Come on, you need to upgrade the phone. They upgrade the women in Islam, same way. Well, they don't even call them women. They call them them. Them, right there. Marry them. Doesn't say marry the women. Marry them. Giving them. See? Giving them. Doesn't say give the woman. Giving them their dories in fairness. Fairness. When you see fairness, fairness doesn't mean fairness. Fairness means you decide if you want to entertain the idea of whether you should give them something or give them nothing. What do I mean by that? Well, in Islam, you can punish the woman. So, you can say, I divorced you. But then you think to yourself, oh, if I divorce this woman, I have to give her the dowry. And then this woman will go and live in her father's house. And then this woman can be sold by her father to another guy. Oh, and then she will have money from the other guy. Oh, so she's going to have a life. But I don't want her to have a life. Oh, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, no, I take you back. I take you back. So now that divorce that you got is gone because the man changed his mind. And you know what will happen then? Then he will tell you, go stay at your father's house. You stay in the father's house. You're married to him loosely, but you stay at your father's house so you can suffer. And at your home, in your father's house, your father will bash you in the head with his words every day. Ah, good for nothing. Stupid. You couldn't hold your man. You couldn't satisfy your man. Now you're here. Now you're a burden on me. I took care of you for so many years, and you can't do nothing right. You can't even satisfy the man. And you're going to sit there. What do you think you can talk? If you talk back. Islam says you can beat the women. If they are chaste, neither promiscuous, nor having secret affairs. That means when we talk about fairness, the woman has to cover herself head to toe. If she didn't cover herself head to toe, where you cannot even tell where her eyes are, you can't tell anything about it. If she didn't cover herself like that, you can't be fair to her. If she's here, as they say, neither promiscuous, meaning by promiscuous, she has to be not seen. If someone comes to your house and they can sense her being there, see her, smell her, hear her, she's being promiscuous. You no longer be fair to her. In other words, when someone comes to do some repair in your house, the AC doesn't work. They come to fix your air conditioner. She needs to go hide in a room that they're not going to be entering, and under the bed, not inside the bed, under the bed, so that no one can even tell she's there if they accidentally go into the room. She better not talk. She better not text. She better not breathe, because maybe they can listen and hear that. And no secret affairs. She's not allowed to have a boyfriend, casual friend, friends with benefits, another person who's going to sign a FUCKING contract. Why does this come up? Because if you still keep her as a wife, or if you give her up as a wife in Islam until she marries again, you're responsible to take care of her, in the case that her parents are dead, she's got nowhere to go. So, she's under your watch. But the minute she talks to somebody, it's a secret affair, because she didn't tell you, the ex-husband, first. And if she's going to satisfy somebody else's penis, you as the old penis, you should get paid by the new penis for her, because now you are the one in charge. You see how that works? In other words, if she wants to become a prostitute in your eyes, you need to be the pimp for this new prostitute. Hence, the new guy has to come and see you, give you money in order to be able to talk to this woman about maybe having a FUCKING with this woman in the future. So you need to get paid out of this. You're the pimp and she's the prostitute. It's the command of Allah. If they commit indecency after marriage, they receive half the punishment of a free woman. We're talking about slave, by the way, here. Yeah, the slave did it. Boom, boom. Is going to get half the punishment of a woman that did it. This is for those of you who fear falling into sin. It's talking to the slave women. Do you fear falling into sin? It's also talking to the believing woman. You fear falling into sin? You want to make sin? So your whole life as a woman is a sin. You're born in sin and you're going to die in sin, and you are sin because you were born woman. That was the sin. Since you're a woman, you're sin. You have no faith. You're an object that someone else owns. You get transferred for money from one owner to another. And if you don't satisfy that new owner properly, it's up to him whether you should even get paid or not. And if you do something because, you're going to explode from the inside, being kept in a corner by yourself doing nothing, if you try to do something, there is punishment for you because you're sin. Do you understand? But if you are patient, how in the world can you be patient if you don't have faith? You have to have faith first to be patient. If you don't have faith, you can't be patient. Have you seen a dog or a cat? You put the food in front of it. They want to go. They want to go. They just want to eat. Then you got to start talking to it. No, wait, sit, lie down. And they're looking at you this whole time like, just stop giving me orders. I just want to go and eat. You can't put food in front of a dog and then decide, well, just because I put it there, the dog will wait another 10 hours before it's lunchtime, and then we'll go and have lunch. We'll go to sleep now. When we wake up, breakfast will come, and we'll still sleep, and the dog will sleep, and then at lunchtime we'll have breakfast. No. The minute you turn around to go do something, the dog's already finished it. How is this woman supposed to have patience when you told us they have no patience? They have no faith. It is better for you. And Allah is all forgiving, all merciful. So in other words, if you stay patient, eventually you will grow old. And when you grow old, the result of being old is you eventually die. When you die, that is the mercy of Allah. He killed you to give you mercy from this miserable life. And because you died, no one ever saw you. You were in the corner of your room and no one saw you. Not even your husband can see you. Not even your children can see you because you're all covered up. And you were covered. No one heard you. No one saw you. You wasted your whole life. Because you did that, Allah will forgive that you are sin, and He'll waive off the sin part. The day you no longer exist is the day that you're no longer in sin. I mean, imagine if you were still in sin after you no longer exist. That would be something. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest we will have to cover another day because I think we've hit our 1 hour mark. So if you like our program, if you are learning something from this program that you don't learn from other programs, do me a huge favor. Take your wonderful finger, click on that subscribe button. If you're on a computer, use your mouse, click on the subscribe button, become a member of our page, of our channel, help grow the channel, help so that by you becoming a member, we can get the algorithms of this YouTube system that we are in, this app that we are all interacting with each other in, so that those bots do their job and promote this channel and this video to more people so that we can open up more eyes, so we can save our countries from Islam and the Sharia that globalist politicians are injecting into our countries. So we can save people in the Middle East and Southeast Asia and the islands of Indonesia and Malaysia and other places, so that we can have less places where terrorists can be grown by this religion that you see that favors pedophilia, favors incest, favors slavery, favors kidnapping, and on and on and on. Also, there's a link at the bottom, a link tree link. You can follow me in other social media. What I put on in Telegram, I cannot put on this channel because it would get banned. What I do in this channel, I can't do in Telegram, which is to dissect and explain everything in detail. So make sure you follow us. And until next week, I leave you in the hands of Jesus.